In the middle of darkest Peru, where the jungle hums with secrets and the vines hang low over rivers, there lived a bear named Paddington. He wasn't like other bears. He wore a red hat, carried a suitcase, and always had a marmalade sandwich tucked in each pocket just in case of emergencies. Paddington was raised by his Aunt Lucy, who taught him to be polite, curious, and kind-hearted when the world felt strange and scary. But one day, disaster struck. An earthquake shook the forest, and poor Aunt Lucy was swept away on a riverboat bound for faraway lands. Paddington never saw her again. Left alone and heartbroken, he climbed into an old trunk and found himself on a ship headed for London. When he arrived, it was snowing, and Paddington stood at the edge of a train station, small and shivering, holding up a sign that read, "Please look after this bear. Thank you." No one noticed him at first. People rushed past, too busy with their own lives. But then came the Brown family, Mr. Henry, Mrs. Mary, and their two children, Jonathan and Judy. Paddington looked up at them with wide, hopeful eyes. "Well," said Mrs. Brown, "I suppose we could take him home, just for now." And so Paddington went to live at 32 Windsor Gardens under the eaves of a tall brick house with a view of the city. At first, things didn't go smoothly. Paddington was very well-meaning, but also very clumsy. He flooded the bathroom trying to give himself a bath. He accidentally painted the living room yellow while trying to help read. And once, he tried to mail Mr. Brown's hat to Peru, thinking it might find his Aunt Lucy. Still, the Browns couldn't bring themselves to send him away. Because behind all the messes and misunderstandings, Paddington had something rare, a heart full of kindness. He made friends with the neighbor's a bird watcher named Mr. Curry, who loved gossip more than binoculars, and a delivery man named Mr. Gruber, who took Paddington to the antique shops every Saturday. He even befriended the strictest person in the neighborhood, Mrs. the Brown's housekeeper, who pretended not to care about him but secretly gave him extra jam on his toast. But not everyone was fond of Paddington. There was a mysterious woman who wandered through the park wearing dark glasses and carrying a camera. She called herself Miss Brown, though she most certainly was not Mrs. Brown and seemed far too interested in Paddington. One day, she invited him to come see her collection of Peruvian artifacts. Paddington, always curious, agreed. But soon, he realized the truth. She wanted to stuff him and put him in a museum forever, trapped in a glass case, labeled and frozen and tied. Paddington trembled, but he remembered what Aunt Lucy used to say. If you're ever in trouble, just be yourself and stay polite. So even locked in a dusty attic, Paddington stayed brave. He left clues. He tapped Morse code on the walls. He even tied a note to a pigeon. And finally, someone heard him. His real family, the Browns came running with the help of the police, some confused museum workers, and a very loud sneeze from Paddington. Miss Brown was stopped. Paddington was saved. Back at 32 Windsor Gardens, life returned to normal. Well, as normal as life can be with a bear in the house. Paddington still got into little trouble. He still asked strange questions. And he still kept 2 marmalade sandwiches in his pocket, one for emergencies, and one just in case. But he also did something else, he reminded the Browns and everyone. He meant that kindness matters more than anything. That even strangers can become fit, and that sometimes the smallest among us can teach the biggest lessons. So if you ever visit London, keep your eyes open. You might spot a small bear in a red hat, walking carefully with a jar of marmalade in his hand. And if you do, say hello. He'll probably offer you a sandwich and maybe, just maybe, you'll become his friend too.